Hey, it's MMA Buff here, and to be fully honest with you, as a long-time MMA fan, I've seen my fair share of stupid stuff in the UFC. But even though it's been a couple days, I still can't seem to make sense of that Paddy and Ilia face-off. So today we will talk all about what is, or let's just say should be, next for Ilia Topuria. Regarding that face-off, even Uncle Dana said it made no sense. And yeah, believe me, it doesn't. But then I wanna ask him, my man, aren't you the president of the company? I mean, his excuse was that he went to the locker room after Ilia won, so he didn't know what was happening. Like still, before we even get there, doesn't the UFC have a rough idea on what they will do after a fight? Like there's only two outcomes, right? Ilia wins or Charles does, so I don't know what can I even say. This whole thing is so amateur hour when it should be perfect, you know? I'm telling you, it's been forever since we've seen a rise like this from a young fighter with lots of promise, and of course the ability to make the UFC tons of money. Because of all that, just knowing they did not have a proper plan if Ilia wins is so incredibly insane. I see MMA fans all day long doing their MMA mat, arguing about who beats who, what kind of matchmaking we should do, but you're telling me the actual UFC doesn't even plan what to do after a championship fight? Well, that's where we're at, I guess, in 2025. Here's what I'll do. I'll give you a reasonably hot take at the end of all this, but before I do that, look, it's very clear to anyone with a few brain cells working that Paddy the Baddy, no matter how entertaining he is, clearly does not deserve the title shot above Arman. When you really put what these guys have been doing right next to each other, it's not even a competition. Arman, outside of losing a close fight to Gamrot, lost to no one in the UFC, other than the previous champion Ilia Makachev, that is. It's not like he fought cans, by the way, he had actual competition against names like Benil Dairush and most importantly Charles Oliveira. I don't want to be too harsh on Paddy, he is very promising for sure, still his best win is against Michael Chandler. Like, do I even have to say anything? Now, I'm not saying Mike is a terrible fighter, but come on, the guy is like what, 5'2" in the UFC? And that's not 5 wins and 2 losses, no, it's the other way around. So yeah, Paddy for a title shot is nothing short of laughable. But you know what, if that's the direction we are going, if we are being completely soulless and our whole goal as an industry is making as much money as possible, to the point where we are letting the number 10 ranked fighter get a title shot over number 1, well, let's go all in then. I told you I would have a hot take earlier, so here it is. I genuinely believe who Ilia fights next does not even matter. Like the UFC is pretty much a reality show nowadays, let them have it, let them do whatever their greedy heart want. But please, for the love of God, give us the super fight next. I could sit here, talk all day about why Makachev versus Topuria is the fight to make, the biggest fight to make, and I actually will rant a bit. First off, we have the best storyline ever in the UFC for this one. Think about it, Ilia Makachev, the continuation of Khabib, was finally planning to move up after defending his lightweight belt 4 times. Enters this Topuria guy who has just knocked out 2 featherweight legends, Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway, back to back. So as normal reasonable human beings, when Ilia said he is moving up originally, we all thought he would just face Islam, right? For some reason though, Belal just had to lose that fight to JDM up at welterweight, leading to the door for Makachev to move up, opening way sooner than the UFC could make the super fight. It's tragic in a way, really. Like the guy who is quite hated by most of the fanbase proves them all wrong by winning the belt against Leon Edwards, only to lose it in his first defense, completely destroying our dreams of a super fight between Makachev and Topuria. This would be a lackluster ending to the hype train, right? Thankfully, it's not fully over yet. Ilia Topuria just knocked out Charles last week, and if Makachev wins against JDM, well, we get quite possibly the biggest and most important fight in the history of UFC. Think about it, pound for pound number 1, who is Ilia right now, not Islam. Who knows if they update it to Makachev again if he beats JDM. Anyway, as I was saying, pound for pound number 1 versus 2, 2 double champs facing off against each other. Basically, Conor with grappling and Khabib with striking. I don't know if you know that meme. But yeah, the stakes really cannot be higher than this, so if UFC fumbles it, I don't even know what to say anymore. With Jon Jones being retired, I don't think there is any other super fights left for them to make, and I thought this was exactly what they wanted, you know? Still, as a fan, I learned to have incredibly low expectations from the UFC. Do not get me wrong, sometimes they deliver amazing things, but as I said, sometimes. I just wish we do not see Ilia staying at 155, defending against Paddy or Justin Gaethje, not even fighting Arman cause Uncle Dana apparently has to punish him for missing weight. It would just be terrible for Topuria, you know? He's still very young, he can easily be the undisputed GOAT if he wins a couple fights against the right opponents. If it was up to me, I would do Arman versus Ilia, JDM versus Islam, and then the winners fight it out, like it's a no-brainer. When you think it through, for Topuria it doesn't matter if Makachev loses or not, which I definitely don't think will happen by the way. Regardless, the narrative is still there. If he gets 3 belts, it's done, he's the GOAT. And if he's doing that against Makachev, that's great. Or Makachev loses and he technically does what Makachev couldn't, right? So at the end of the day, I genuinely believe this is the move to make. Have Ilia fight Arman now, and from then on, we let him move up to welterweight, even if it's just for one fight. I know some of you will call me crazy, yet think about it. What else is there to do? Would you rather have Ilia stay at lightweight, fight Justin Gaethje, Dan Hooker, Gamrot in his 4th, 5th title defense or whatever? I just don't like that. I know we are talking about Ilia Topuria here, but the same goes for Makachev. Like after JDM, if he wins against Ilia 2, boom, he's the GOAT. I don't know, I guess I just miss the days when UFC would make these matchups feel like they had insane stakes. So what do you say? What is your opinion regarding all this? Please comment that down below and I'll be right there just yapping with you. Do not forget to subscribe and take care until the next time. Cheers.